So in this video, I'm going to tell you why the HexGaming Phantom controller is the best controller for the PS5. So without further delay, let's dive in. Now, quick disclaimer, HexGaming sent 3 Phantom controllers free of charge for review, but my opinions are my own and my own alone and no money exchanged hands. This is my honest opinions and thoughts on these controllers. So who is HexGaming? Well, HexGaming have been making custom controllers for quite some time now, and I've reviewed one of their older PS5 controllers and Xbox Series S and X controllers, and I can tell you now they are hands down doing it the right way. And what I mean by doing it the right way, well, they buy original PlayStation DualSense controllers, and what they do is they modify them. So you have some really good benefits by doing it that way. Now, those adaptive triggers are only for official Sony controllers, so third parties can't mimic them or implement them, etc. Now, that's great because you don't lose those adaptive triggers or any of the other features that Sony bake into their DualSense controllers. It also means that the controller is always going to be compatible, and as I found with the grey controller, you'll see a little bit later on the grey one, as soon as I connected it to my PlayStation 5, it said there's an update for the controller, and of course the PlayStation and Sony think it's just a plain old original DualSense controller, so updating it went perfectly smooth. Now, there are 2 key benefits that makes HexGaming stand out from the rest. Now, I don't know of any other manufacturers doing this right now, but if there is, let me know in the comments below. So as you guys know, I love to do an unboxing, so let's do that now before we look at anything else. So as I said, I've got 2 different models. Now, this is the one without Hall effect thumbsticks. It doesn't have a case or a USB-C cable or programmer, etc. But it still has a neat trick how you can get rid of sort of any misalignment with the thumbsticks. I know they're calling it drift fix or stick drift fix, but it's more of an alignment tool if you ask me. But that's just details. So let's get this opened up and have a look at what the entry-level price controller or the cheaper controller, whichever way you want to put it. Now, you will notice there's a lot less accessories with this version. So as we can see here, we have the controller itself, and I've already put the thumbsticks on, but they don't come on as standard. But of course you do have this little case, and it has loads of different thumbsticks, different sizes, different lengths, etc, etc. Now, if we pull this out, you see the only other thing we're going to get is some of these joystick protector rings, little rubber ring things, and then you're going to get some documentation. So that is all you get with this one. Now, we will take a look at this controller in a lot more detail in a moment because there's a lot to go over with this, but we'll pop that over there for now because we have another one to show you, which is the Chaos Black, and this one does come with the Hall effect thumbsticks, the programmer, a case, etc, etc. So this is like the premium package, if you like. So as we open this one up, you will see that we have a case, and these are really nice cases. They're quite firm and sturdy, really nice. There is documentation in the bottom, as you can see, some instructions, etc. We never read instructions on this channel, do we? We like to figure things out for ourselves. So, yes, you have a case, and it's all nicely packed in this case. So, we go ahead and open it up. We can see here we have the Chaos Black controller. Again, we have one of these little cases with all the thumbsticks in. Obviously a lot longer than the normal thumbsticks I would use. I'd probably use something like this, but we've got those on the other controller, so we can still have a look at that. So there we go, these just pop on here. And as you can see, that is quite tall there, but surprisingly comfortable, and this would be quite accurate. The taller the thumbstick, the more accurate they are. So maybe having a short throw stick to move around, and then having this stick as you're aiming. Once you get used to it, you should be more accurate with it. But anyway, that is that. And then what we have in here, we have lots of goodies in here. Now we have the normal thumbstick protectors that you get with the other one, but then we also have this little gadget with 2 ribbon cables. Basically what this is the programmer, because this controller has Hall effect thumbsticks and this one doesn't. This has normal thumbsticks. And then we have an extremely long braided, really good quality USB to USB-C, and this of course can be used for charging and also pairing it and updating it with your PS5. So as I said, the Hall effect controllers come with these little programmers, and what this essentially does is you can align the thumbsticks so you can get them perfectly centered, and you can also adjust dead zones and things like that. There's quite a lot you can do with these little programmers, and if you want to see a separate video where I go into how to set this up and how to sort of adjust everything, let me know. But for this video, they are actually aligned already, and how you would use this is on the top of the controller. It is quite stuck on there, and it has that little sort of tab, but that is what you have on the top of this, the little programmer. So obviously this one of these cables will go into here, and then the other end will go into the programmer. You get 2 spare cables, that's really nice. But if that's what you get on this controller, what do you get on the one without Hall effect thumbsticks? You can see we've got some potentiometer pots. So basically the older way to sort of align the analog sticks is to use these potentiometer pots, and what that does is it adds resistance, so it aligns them perfectly. So this is a really good thing to have. Now they do say this is to fix stick drift, but if you've ever seen stick drift in action, you'll see the actual positioning of the analog stick in something like Gamepad Tester, and you'll see it's drifting across. Hence why they call it stick drift. It drifts across. Now this potentially might be able to bring it back to the center, but once an analog stick is worn out or dirty beyond the point of cleaning it, this will not fix it. But this is definitely not a waste of time having. So basically what you can do is you can use this to recalibrate new thumbsticks when you replace them, because not all thumbsticks are calibrated perfectly from the factory. I've actually changed a lot of thumbsticks in the past, and to the point where some of them I've changed, they're slightly off. Having something like this to just quickly go in with a screwdriver and adjust to make them spot on is amazing. Now one great thing about HexGaming controllers is they start off life as an original PlayStation 5 controller, hence the price. You've got to remember here, they're buying original PS5 controllers, they're customizing them, they're adding the back buttons, they're adding the ability to program it and have different profiles, and of course we've got the hair clicky triggers, and we can swap now between the analog triggers. So if you're playing a racing car game like Gran Turismo, you're going to get the precision of the accelerator and brake, and you're going to get that feedback from those as well. So if you do want to play shooting games, you'll get the feedback on the triggers. So that's all still there, something that you don't get with third-party controllers. And then of course, flicking those switches across, we've got hair clicky triggers, and listen to how nice they sound. And even the buttons on the back They all sound amazing. Now, of course, this one has the original analog sticks, but let's face it, Sony do make great controllers. So it's pretty much everything that you want in a PS5 controller. It's got the triggers, it's got the back buttons, the profiles, the stick drift calibration, whatever you want to call that. And of course, it is an original DualSense controller underneath. So you are going to have compatibility and updated software through the PlayStation without any issues at all. Now, you do have a few options with color. Now, as you can see, we've got this grey one with the standard analog sticks. And then we also do have the Chaos Black, which looks really cool as well. And we do have the white and blue one again. This one also has analog sticks with the case and the programmer, etc. So as you can see there, 3 really nice colours to choose from. Now, I normally play my PlayStation 5 with the PlayStation Portal. That's because the PS5 is just behind me here, and normally I'm playing it either from the bedroom or downstairs. So the Portal is actually quite convenient for me. So sitting in here on the screen behind me, playing on the PlayStation 5, is a little bit of a different experience than what I've been doing for the past year. But I can tell you now that I've fallen in love with this controller. It feels so familiar to a normal controller, but it's got added bonus of having those hair clicky triggers and those buttons on the back. Having those different profiles so I can set up different games is just fantastic. This is now my go-to controller, and to be honest, I don't think I'll be using anything else. Now, using third-party controllers, you always feel like you're compromising somewhere. But thankfully, because these are based on original DualSense controllers, and let's face it, Sony has been making fantastic controllers for their systems ever since the PlayStation 1. So we're getting that PlayStation quality baked into the controller, and then we're just having a few must-have, if you ask me, add-ons. We've got those programmable buttons on the back and those mouse clicky hair triggers, and they're fantastic. When I was playing Call of Duty, it made the game and the experience so much better. And having the option to switch between the two, so if you play in Gran Turismo, of course you don't want hair clicky triggers, you want the analog so you can feather the throttle through corners, and it just makes this controller the perfect controller. Now let's talk about the price for a moment, the elephant in the room if you like. These controllers start at $229, and that's for the one without the Hall effect thumbsticks, just the controller and those 8 different thumbstick attachments. So that's quite pricey when you're comparing it to an original PlayStation controller. But what you've got to remember, this isn't third-party junk. This is an original controller, hence why the price is more expensive. And then of course, for not that much more money, $279, you're going to get the one with Hall effect thumbsticks, a case, a USB cable, and of course that programmer. Now if you want me to do a video on how to use the programmer and those adjustment pots on the top, let me know in the comments below and I'll get that sorted. There is other videos out there, and of course HexGaming have done one themselves, but if you want me to do one, just let me know in the comments below and I'll create a nice short, straight to the point video going over how you set each of them up. Now of course there is a discount code, ARG5, I'll put it in the description along with all the links to these controllers, and that 5% is off anything on their website. So they do have Xbox Series S and X controllers, etc. So go check them out in the description below, and I just want to give a massive thank you to HexGaming for sending these controllers out for me to review for you guys. Now that about wraps it up for this review, but if you want to see more reviews like this, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I'm JP, you've been watching Alien Gaming, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.